Hi guys, today we're going to react to ANGREIFER by Unlucky Morpheus. This is a Buy Me a Coffee request from Jay Callaway. Thank you, Jay, for this request. We appreciate your support.
Thank you, Jay Callaway. We appreciate another request.
It's a horror rock ballad that reminds me of Nightwish. And Fuki's voice, she was leading the entire intro. It's been a while since we reacted to Unlucky Morpheus, but such a beautiful voice. I think I mentioned it before. It pierces through everything and it just fills out the room. It feels like we're going to watch a horror film, something like that.
Fuki's voice is something that I've commented about in the past, and she's just amazing. Her voice tells a story within itself. There's something about it. You listen to it, you don't know the language, but it's still telling you something. She definitely commands the stage and leads the band. And when Jill's violin comes into it, it's always such a beautiful sound. And here, it's like the violin led the change in tempo. It got heavier, and then the drums were leading into it. That was just a beautiful section, which is kind of where we stopped, and now I'm curious to see where it's going. Definitely has a horror theme kind of feel to it.
And also, Jill gave us a form of classical music sensibility. It made like a mini shift in the tone of the song when she started playing.
And again, we're reminded of Sheeran's rough vocals, as we were introduced to mostly with Unholy Orpheus. Here it sounds amazing because we have both of them sort of playing off against each other kind of thing, or more of a, I guess, duetting. And when it hits that chorus, it just sounds fantastic. Just a very intense song. The horror feel is still definitely there with that kind of choir sound accompanying it in the background. And then when Sheeran brings out the demon, it collides beautifully, I think. Amazing performance live, especially. Didn't really mention that before, that it's great to see Unlucky Morpheus live again. It's been a while specifically with that. What a banger.
And Sheeran's demon is layered, it appears. His scream has a deeper tone, and then when he turns it into a screech, almost like two different entities within those demons.
His scream has both those kind of screech and growl. It fits beautifully here with the whole theme that it's going for. Really enjoying it so far.
That classical music sensibility was really strong in that last part. Jill really delivered the vibe that makes it this whole thing like a horror fantasy or something. And Genius solo works so well with that. Really a treat, that guitar solo.
Yeah, there was something interesting actually about the guitar solo. The guitar almost sounded like a second violin at one point. They were kind of playing along each other and the sound was getting sort of more similar in a way, but playing differently, obviously much faster, a different kind of tune. But I was also really enjoying Fumiya on the drums, who's just belting the crap out of them, just sounding really, really fantastic. Great song.
And Fuki's voice at the end when she belted, every time she puts a little bit more power in it, it's like a reminder that she's a phenomenal singer.
Yeah, she's awesome. They're all awesome. was absolutely fantastic. Very, very intense, powerful performance. We mentioned all the horror themes, and when you look through the lyrics, you realize there's a lot of that going on. Even the name of the song, ANGREIFER, meaning aggressor or attacker in German, already says something. The song itself is basically about a character who has been wronged, let's put it that way, and he's kind of forced to fight for his own survival and exact revenge on all those who wronged him. And it almost becomes an obsession, the revenge itself, something that can't seem to snap out of. He gets caught in that sort of cycle of violence and that need, and it continues pretty much to the end.
I think you talk about the literal true meaning behind what's described in the lyrics, because the lyrics describe the narrator as like a beast or vampire or something inhuman. They even say it in the lyrics. And it had me thinking, judging by your interpretation, the need for revenge, all these things that the narrator talks about, that beast is describing the need for revenge. It's describing a very human need. It's a very human way of looking at things. It kind of had me wonder, by the literal interpretation of what it means, the need for vengeance, why is the narrator describing themselves as a beast, as something that is inhuman? It could possibly mean that they view themselves some sort of different entity than normal people, maybe to say that they're not accepted. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but I do take into consideration that it might have something to do with a specific story that I'm not privy to. And yet the overall message kind of hints to me that it has something to do lack of catharsis after being wronged. The song itself is like an expression of frustration.
The narrator being, as you put it, inhuman, there's like two possible interpretations from that, from the way it's worded in the song. There was a line that kept repeating, saying something that was once before human. So started out as human, now probably not. Now, the inhuman part could be describing the way this person has become because of their need for vengeance, but it can also describe as literal something that is inhuman. It goes on to refer to the pride of the beast that devours scarlet blood. And it also mentions one who has escaped death, left alone in a coffin. To me, it screams out vampire, and I think that those are the two options. It's either talking about a person that their need for revenge, their need for blood makes them into a vampire, or an actual vampire. That's what I think. And even reading that first verse, last memory, middle of the darkness. I strained my eyes, and in my line of sight coldly lay my mother's corpse, and a scent of blood so strong I could choke. I think, one interpretation, this is a person who was turned into a vampire and killed their own mother. And now their need for revenge is to go out and get those who turned him. That's what it feels like to me. And again, we talked about the feeling of a horror film or of a movie, and I feel that that can be one interpretation of the story, that this person is so hell-bent on getting the people who have wronged him, who have made him into what he is now. That just kind of all sort of falls into place if you go along with that. But again, it could be several interpretations here.
Well, if you contemplate the literal meaning of the lyrics, it talks about their dead mother's corpse and the scent of blood so strong I could choke. In my mind, a vampire wouldn't choke on a scent of blood, but it does explain the obsession for blood afterwards. If we're talking about the literal meaning, if we take into consideration that vampires don't exist and it's just a part of this particular story, the literal meaning of the narrator is that when they experience the scent of that blood so strong they could choke, that means that the obsession for blood started in that moment.
That's what I said before. Somebody who's just turned, and the first victim was their actual mother because they couldn't help it. I think that that's why he felt the scent of blood so strongly, because it was still in his mouth, in his throat. That's what I think it describes, which makes for an interesting story. But later on, it also mentions the only sliver of hope left here is a fang that doesn't know how to thirst. Turned into a vampire, but somehow managed to take control of the urges and no longer thirsts for blood of humans, but thirsts for blood in revenge. Something that was once before human.
I had it in my mind that a fang that doesn't know how to thirst is a vampire that doesn't know how to control themselves because they never thirst, because they always feed.
Again, anything's possible here. You can take it both ways, either way, and we can both be wrong and we can be right. It's an interesting song. The lyrics here are very, very interesting. Whether this is someone who's turned into a vampire and just kind of gave in to that hunger and is just destroying everything inside, maybe using their newly found power as a vampire to
exact revenge on people who have done him wrong.
Yeah, it could be. It amuses me to think that if Unlucky Morpheus get a word of our reaction and then go, vampires, what are you talking about?
Anything is possible. Like I said, we can be, and again, this is a translation from Japanese. So yeah, it says at the end, he gets down and stands. Yes, no matter how many times. So whether they're able to take him down in some way, he always gets back up. Like he never dies. Amazing song, really intense. Love the performance. Fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you, Jay Callaway, for this request. Definitely a banger. Keep them coming. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, thanks, Jay, for this Unlucky Morpheus request. It's been a little while since we've seen Unlucky Morpheus. We enjoyed every second of it. Please, more like this would be much appreciated. Thank you for your support. If you enjoyed this episode, guys, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click the little bell icon so you get notified on all our future videos. If you have a song in mind you'd like us to react to, please make it through Buy Me a Coffee so we'll get a chance to get to it. The link is at the top of the description below. Thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you all for your time.
As always, our Unlucky Morpheus Reactions playlist should be up on the screen sometime about now. Give it a click, check it out, and yeah, we hope you enjoy it as much as we have. Thank you so much, guys, for all your support. We appreciate you oh so much. We'll be back in a couple of days with a new episode. We hope to see you all then. Thanks again, guys. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.